Hi everyone, Coach Dan Vukmirovich here. Thank you so much for taking a look at this video, and we really do hope that you will find this to be a valuable time spent, that you'll be able to discern your next steps following this video. I'm not sure why you've chosen to check this out. Maybe there's a certain calling on your life that maybe you've not lived out yet. Maybe there is a tug on your heart that says, yeah, maybe we should take a look at this. Or maybe there's some people around you that you know need your help. Maybe physically, spiritually, the whole shebang. And you're not exactly sure how to help them. So I do hope that you find some value in this time that we spend here. It's going to be short, but I want you to get an idea of what we're inviting you to. And we're going to start with my story. So part of my story is, back in 2008, my dad passed away due to complications from type 2 diabetes. And so during that time period, I had to wrestle with some issues of my own health because I was heading in that same direction. And I knew that if I didn't make some choices soon, that I would end up in that pre-diabetic into the diabetic stages very quickly in my life. And the impact that my dad's health had on my mom, I wasn't willing to put my wife through that, so I decided to make a change. And I sought out some help, and I ended up with a program that many of you probably know, called P90X. And so P90X really and literally saved my life. I was able to do this program, 90 days worth of it, and it changed everything for me. I found that I could actually complete a program. It helped me not only physically, but also on a spiritual level. I've been following Jesus for quite a while, 20 years, but yet I knew that there's this portion of my life that I've been sort of holding back from Him. And so when I offered Him this part of my life, I was able to find a greater freedom in every area of my life, which is what I find more and more as I coach with people, is they find a similar freedom as well. I had been a pastor for several years. I'd been for 13 years been a pastor of music at a large church, and I've been doing music, and I've been going through that routine for quite a while. And during that time is when I experienced this health change in my life. And so I'd be pastoring people on the weekends and reaching out to them with the music and different things like that. And I began then to do a similar thing with my fitness. I began to reach out to people, and I started forming these groups, these support groups, to help people make progress towards their health and fitness goals, with the idea that I couldn't really separate this pastor side from me from this physical side. Now, I wasn't crazy overt about it because I didn't want to scare people who didn't know Jesus away, but what I started to do was blend those two together. So I had this pastoral side and I had this fitness side, and they started combining. And often there was some tension that was raised with that, because particularly when you're in fitness world, you've got the fitness side of things. What tends to happen is that there tends to be a lot of maybe overly concerned about how we look, and we want to have the ripped abs, and we want to make sure that we're looking good in a swimsuit and that kind of stuff. But over here in Christian world, that doesn't really fly so well, because it's like, we don't want to be brag, and we don't want to have this idea of, oh yeah, it's all about how I look. And so sometimes there was some tension. And what I sort of came to during that time is that in 1 Corinthians 6, 19 through 20, Paul speaks to us about honoring God with our bodies, as our bodies are temples of the Holy Spirit. And so we can offer our bodies as this pleasing act of worship to God. And so I then took that framework and began to coach people with a greater sense of purpose, where I was putting body, mind, and spirit together, helping them make progress towards their health and fitness goals. But then that bled over into every area of their lives, because they found freedom. And when you find freedom in one area, that freedom bleeds over into others. And so what began to happen is I started to see myself more as less of a fitness coach, but actually more of a pastor of fitness. And so I would pastor these people and help them make progress towards their goals. Then what started to happen is I began to experience this idea of helping people and the fitness world find freedom as well. So I began to rub shoulders with a lot of fitness coaches particularly in this framework, Beachbody coaches who needed some help. And maybe they were doing pretty well on their physical side of things, but emotionally and spiritually, there was a void. And I began to reach out, and I began to offer hope and help and inspiration and breathe life into these people. So I became not only a pastor of fitness, but also simultaneously a missionary, a fitness missionary into this world of fitness. So I have these two kind of worlds that sort of colliding. And so I stopped being a pastor of music and became this full-time fitness missionary and fitness pastor. And I found such great fulfillment in it. And I found this purpose of blending these two worlds together, which has been very, very exciting. And so I'm excited to be able to bring these together for you. Because maybe you've been feeling a similar tug or a similar tension in your life, and you're looking to how to make peace with all of that. I would love to talk with you. I'd love to follow up with you and see if this opportunity, pairing a great company like Beachbody, significant programs with great products that are making great progress in the physical world, and then pair that up with a spiritual side and a depth and an understanding of how Jesus wants us to reach out into this world with His light and His hope and His freedom. So if you are interested in finding out a little bit more about this, please fill out the form below, and I will follow up with you. We will follow up with you, and we would love to see if this is a good fit for you and if you can be part of building God's kingdom along with us on the Go team. All right, we hope you take a look and look forward to hearing from you. Thanks for taking this time.